Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another lovely Wednesday morning here in the Outlaw Nation. I am John, the Outlaw Rocha, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Mornings with the Outlaw, a show that I'm doing every morning, Monday through Friday, no matter what. That being said, though, I will say this. Friday, I am traveling to Atlanta for the live event, for the Schmodown, so I don't know what I'm going to do for Friday. Maybe I'll set up something where you guys send in questions, and I'll set up an email maybe today if you guys are sending questions to the Outlaw Nation, and then I'll just record an episode where I'm answering all your questions and then put that up on Friday, or maybe I'll just do a live stream from the airport. I really don't know how this is all going to go, but anything is possible. I'm kicking it up in the air. What would you guys prefer? Let me know, maybe in the chat and what have you. So it's great to see all of you to this morning. How are you doing? I think I've got the lighting finally figured out in here, which is great, having the blinds and everything like that. And I've got the microphone up into my mouth here, so I'll be looking at maybe getting a Rode mic. Might be the next thing for me, getting one of those Rode mics. A friend of mine sent me a thing that could, article that kind of promotes this new Rode mic that they've got that connects to just connects straight to the USB. So that might be the next choice as well. All right, super low volume, John. Again, man, I don't know. Yeah, it has to be the connection that's going on here, because this is what happens sometimes when I'm doing these kinds of things, is that the volume goes a little bit low. Some people have it fine, and some people say it's too low. So I don't know what to do half the time. How is that? Is that better for everybody? Does it sound a little bit better? Maybe, or is the volume still low? All right, volume is still too low, huh? All right, I don't know. This is as high as it's gonna get, I think, with what I've got. So I guess I'll have to kind of explore the possibility of one of those USB mics now. And once that gets squared away, then I think we'll be good to go. So all right, let me say hi to everybody in the room. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we've got MK Songbird, Rick Samoris, BAC 946, Ben Rayner, Chris Scorpio. What's going on, my man? Javier D is in here. Joe McKim, Andrew G, J Scott for Rails. Andy Burnett, good morning. How are you? What was your breakfast today, Rocha? It was just a muffin. I've got a quick schedule today. I got to be out at 9:30 on this stream because I'm heading down to the opening of the SoFi Stadium. Well, not the opening necessarily, but they're having media come down to take a look at the opening of the SoFi Stadium. Going to have a hard hat on, going to walk around this thing. And shout out to my friend Michael Sandoval over at Muse TV. He reached out to me. He's like, hey, do you want to come do this? And I was like, hell yeah. And it's part of the sports programming that I'll be doing. So I'll definitely be shooting a video or doing some kind of thing there for it. So I'm looking forward to going down there and seeing it and seeing what the stadium's going to look like. It's going to be the LA Bowl is going to be there. The Pac-12 is going to play there. All kinds of stuff's going to happen there. So I can't wait to go down and take a look at that. Haskell 420, what's going down, my man? Andrew Cook, how are you? Let's see. Jake Yacovetta. Thank you, Jake, for being in here to moderate. Appreciate it. Yeah, as Jake is putting in there, please send in your Streamlabs this morning. Send in your super chats. Want to answer your questions. Want to talk about so many things. Obviously, we've got 3 topics to talk about, maybe a couple other topics that have popped up over the last few hours that I might want to touch on. But yeah, I love getting your super chats. Love getting your Streamlabs. Your Streamlabs keep the lights on in this place, really help me do things that I need to do here on the Outlaw Nation. So would love any kind of support you can send through, and I definitely want to read them and answer them and give them the time that they need. Thank you so much to Jake for moderating here and for putting everybody through. And of course, there's the Patreon as well, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Go and donate there as well if you want to be part of the Patreon. Let's see who else we got in here. Jason Yassine, what's up? How you doing? What's up, Outlaw Nation? Manny Gonzalez, Jack Ainsworth, what's going down? Let's see who else I got. Toxide TWV. That's how I do it. Just accept it. That's how I do it. Joey Pedras, how are you, my man? Aaron Kalu, how are you doing? Who else we got in here? Luis Macias, buenos dias. Roca listo por el show. Listo, yes, I agree. I'm ready too. Absent good, how are you? Let's see. Orator is in here. Daniel McBreen. Kanu Haku Fu. Nico Robin _DB. Great to see you. Zeno Hour, how are you, brother? Facetious Christ. Oh, Facetious Christ is in here. Everybody get ready. J-Dog, what's up, J-Dog? How good to see you, my man. Victor Acosta, what's up, Victor? Cameron Hainsworth, how are you? Good to see you. Ronnie Padilla is here. ZB is up in the club. Slen182 is here as well. David Gallegos, Jazz Santi, good morning, my man. Yeah, David Gallegos is taking me on his commute to work. Thank you. Let's see who else we got. Victor Acosta. Yes, I already said. Maria Hammond. How are you, Maria? Good to see you. There we go. All right, cool. That slap, not slap regarding ego was awful. Oh, okay. I don't. Oh my God. Need to talk about yesterday at SEN. Right. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Send in a Streamlabs or send in a Super Chat. We'll have the conversation. But let's start off first with the. Let's start off with a Streamlab first. And that is Andy Burnett. He donated here. He says, I know you don't self-promote yourself, but if you could find a way onto the card for Chicago, that would be great. Plan on attending and would love to buy you a drink. Better series since 1990, Mission Impossible or James Bond? Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good. I would say consistency-wise, since 1990, you'll find better movies in the Bond series. But because they've had more opportunities to get them right than Mission Impossible has, right? The last 4 Mission Impossible movies, 3, 4, 5, and 6, have been pretty damn good. So you can't argue that. And certainly 7 looks like it's going to be a great as well. The first one's okay. The second one really not good, and that's a shame to say because that's John Woo. But I like the J.J. Abrams Mission Impossible 3. I like 4 and 5, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol, and of course Fallout. Those are great films. But when you look at Bond, you've got so many from Timothy Dalton to Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig. So there's a lot within their runs that you could enjoy for sure. That's so there's just more. There's just better films. I'm sorry. There's a higher quantity of films that are better in the Bond franchise than there is Mission Impossible at this point. However, that being said, the Mission Impossible streak right now from 3 to 6 to possibly 7 is pretty good. So I got no complaints with Daniel Craig. It's like the odd ones are always the ones that are not. I mean, the evil ones rather that aren't that good. You know, you enjoyed Casino Royale, not so much Quantum of Solace. You love Skyfall. People have issue with Spectre. So hopefully people are going to love No Time to Die, as that is the odd number there for Daniel Craig and his run. It'll be the last one. So we'll see. Thank you, Andy, for that question. Always appreciate people sending in Streamlabs and the Super Chats. J Dog sent in a Super Chat. He said, No Time to Die by Billie Eilish debuts at number 16 on the Billboard 100 Pop Chart this week. Already number 1 in the UK. Could USA be far behind? I don't know. I mean, those Bond songs don't usually hit number 1 lately. It's kind of rare. I mean, of course, I don't even know if Skyfall hit number 1 for Adele. So who knows if Billie Eilish will hit number 1 with this. But that being said, Billie is on a run. The Grammys, her music, people are loving Billie Eilish a lot. So don't be surprised to see it hit number 1. It may just do that. Wouldn't be surprised if it does. For sure, but no surprise to see it be number 1 in the UK because I mean it's a Bond property, so naturally people are going to go out and buy this thing, and we'll see how it plays out in the US. Maybe closer to the release of the film, maybe then it'll pop up all the way to number 1. We shall see. All right, let's jump into things. Our first subject today is the Bob Iger story. I mean, how can we not talk about this? I'm sure all of you, even if you're a casual Disney lover, you know the name Bob Iger as a CEO of Walt Disney. He announced yesterday that he is stepping down effective immediately. Now, it doesn't mean that he is leaving the job today or tomorrow or whatever. He is leaving the job at the end of his run, so he's retiring. And, he had apparently delayed retiring for the last 4 times that he could retire. And so he eventually, finally, is stepping down and handing the reins over to Bob Chapek. And a little bit about Bob Chapek. Let me see if I find here. He served as recently served as chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. He will assume the role of CEO effective immediately. He'll continue to report to Bob Iger, though, so that tells you something right there. If he's continuing to report to Bob Iger, that tells you the power that Bob Iger has. And let's take a look at Bob Iger, because there's a lot to really explore about this guy and what he was able to do with Disney. I mean, he announced Disney's. Let's just start from where he beefed up the content library with 70. He ushered in through Disney's $71 billion acquisition of Fox's entertainment business. He had added Star Wars and Marvel before that, with Lucasfilm and Marvel Entertainment, each for about $4 billion. Then he announced the acquisition of Pixar as well earlier in his tenure, $7.4 billion acquisition of Pixar Animation Studios. And if that wasn't enough, he launched the theme park in Shanghai, which gains 11 million visitors. It gained 11 million visitors in its first year. He said, with the successful launch of Disney's direct-to-consumer businesses and the integration of 21st Century Fox well underway, I believe this is the optimal time to transition to a new CEO. And yeah, don't forget, he also launched Disney Plus, which became immediately popular. 26.5 million paying subscribers during the first quarter of 2020 after launching in November. That's incredible numbers. And if we look at the stock market with him, the stock price of the Disney stock has just skyrocketed since he took over. It went from $23.8 a share to $128.2 a share as of the most recent 2020 numbers. Incredible. He's stepping down 22 months before his actual retirement. So I think he understands, and this is why I tell you these things and why I speak about these things. Hollywood is a whole nother animal, and it's a transition animal, and by that I mean it's very important how you do the transitions, just like I just did that transition. It's really important how you do the transitions in power. And with Iger, he realized, look, there's no way that I can just walk away from this thing and then this guy's just going to step in. You have to announce it. People have to get used to Bob Chapek. Also, they got to see how Bob Chapek does under the pressure and if he's going to be a good CEO stepping in for Bob Iger. So it gives the board some time to get used to it. It gives the people who watch Disney Entertainment some time to get used to it, because Iger became so synonymous with success at Disney. And of course, some people might argue big timing with Disney, buying these properties, stepping in, turning it into a cultural and financial juggernaut that you want to have someone who's going to step in and carry the load just as well as Bob Iger did. And Chapek said here, let me see if I get his quote correct. I want to make sure I get this right. He said, he envisions his role as CEO to be continuing to work on the strategic pillars established by Iger, especially Disney's direct-to-consumer initiatives, but at the same time look around the corner at what's going on in the marketplace that would necessitate a fresh look at those things. Right now, the course that Bob has laid is one that we fully intend to follow, and I think will pay dividends to shareholders for years to come. And when he's talking about working in business and doing things with direct-to-consumer businesses, which is really where a lot of businesses are really trying to foster a strong relationship here and a strong connection with their consumers. He said, while I certainly have an opportunity to immerse myself more inside those media businesses, I have a bit of fluency, just like my peers have some fluency in our business. That's my sweet spot. And that is something I could leverage now throughout all my experiences, not only at Disney, but even before Disney, in terms of figuring out how we take the data, the information, the technology, and once again, our storytelling right direct to the consumer so that we can take all the great equities we have and continue to build those for our shareholders. So some strong words from Chapek, certainly the right words to in this situation, because you don't want a CEO that comes in going, gee, I hope I do okay. I hope we can make things happen. No, he's very much wanting to follow the footprints that Bob Iger laid out, being the CEO of Disney here. So let's take a look at what this might mean for Disney. A lot of people, I saw a couple of analysts taking a look at what this might mean. By the way, Iger is retiring at 69 years old. So he's not like a dinosaur necessarily. And we'll get to dinosaurs on the next topic of today. But he's not a dinosaur necessarily. So he's retiring at the right time when he can still do things. He's retired. He's extended his retirement, as I said earlier, 4 times during the last decade. And this is interesting too, because there were other people who were kind of lined up. Thomas Staggs had been lined up to possibly be his successor, but then exited as the chief operations officer in April of 2016. And then Chapek emerged along with Fox TV executive Peter Rice and Disney direct-to-consumer chairman Kevin Mayer. So those 3 guys were basically vying for this position. And in the end, of course, like I said, it went to Chapek. And of course, this is an interesting thing as well, because Iger took risks. Iger was bold. He was calculated. He was smart. Some people have that aura about them. They could just take the right risks at the right time with the right amount of money, and it leads to massive successes. Other people take those same risks, and for whatever reason, either timing or their energy or whatever, it doesn't work out. And that can be a problem for anyone who's taken over for Bob Iger to try to follow in his footsteps. Not an easy thing to do. Another thing they talked about, let me say this real quick. Let's see, he was bold. Disney is currently valued at $230 billion. Just let that sink in. $230 billion. And And since he ascended to the job, the stock price has more than quadrupled. That's incredible. It's closing on Tuesday, according to CNBC, it closed at $128.19 a share. So, all of us are like, damn it, we should have invested in Disney way back when. You never know what can happen when the right person gets into that position. Now, a lot of people think that this could mean, he could run for the presidency. Certainly, Oprah Winfrey on Instagram said she wishes he was the man running for president. And remember, Iger did serve initially on Trump's council and then stepped away from that almost very soon after he joined, because maybe he didn't approve of what was happening or didn't feel like it was the right place for him. But Iger has said he is not going to get involved in the presidential race or politics or anything like that. He is focused on creative endeavors for Disney, which is interesting, right? When you look at this thing, because you're talking about 2021. This is also consequently when Kathleen Kennedy's extension runs out. So what does this mean? Is Bob Iger making this move so that Chapek is handling these things, and maybe it's not Feige, but Iger who slides into this position and kind of like wants to do what he wants to do creatively, or at least be like a voice in the room creatively. Because once you're retired and you've got that credibility, you can do whatever you want. You can be in the room, not be in the room, do whatever you want to do. And of course, Disney values his point of view for sure. But I'm curious to see what Disney creative endeavors mean for Bob Iger. I'm curious. I know people might say, oh, it's a step down for him to just take over, Kathleen Kennedy's position. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to be the CEO anymore. Maybe he likes kind of taking a smaller position. Jeff Johns did the same thing, stepped away from DC to kind of become a producer. Amy Pascal, same thing, moved away from being an executive so she could be a producer. Sometimes people are done with the pressure of being an executive and they want to move into more creative things, because most people who come into the movie business and become an executive wanted to make movies to begin with. They love movies. And being an executive, yes, you can take credit for, shepherding things or hiring whatever, but there's no replacement for having your fingers actually on these creative endeavors and fingerprints all over these successful movies. One last thing here for this whole story here. Bob Chapek, just a little background on him. He worked at Disney for 27 years, so pretty incredible. And he is only the 7th CEO in Disney's 100-year history. He's 60 years old, so he's only 9 years younger than Bob Iger. For 5 years, he led the parks and resorts. He oversaw the division's largest expansion with the opening of Shanghai Disney. He previously ran the company's global consumer products operations, including Disney stores, but he has little experience in some of the company's largest arenas, for example, television, sports, and movies. And when Iger was asked about Chapek's operational experience and knowledge of the company, as well as his relationships, he said, Bob has worked closely and collaboratively with leaders across the different segments of our company. So that's, there's some questions here with Bob Chapek. I mean, the fact that he hasn't had a lot of experience with television, sports, and movies, that's our thing, movies, and that's my second thing, sports, and the third thing, television. So we got to see what the learning curve is going to be for Bob Chapek here, and maybe this is why Iger is having this transition 22 months out, so he can ingratiate him more into the running of things and see how he does, and the Disney board can see if this is the right guy to keep to have in this position going forward. Apparently, and Disney has spent the last 2 years ramping up its strategy to reach consumers directly through streaming services like Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus, and what have you. So there's going to be more of that coming forward. So maybe here Bob Chapek's experience with direct-to-consumer stuff at Disney is what's essential here as they make this transition. Maybe Iger felt there's a better guy to handle this and who knows it inside and out and has it in his blood. Let's hand it over to this guy and see what he does. So we'll see. It's a big shockwave. I'm curious to see how he does. I'm curious to see what happens, but it's a big thing to take over something like Disney and see what you can do with it. And certainly, it's like when Feige finally steps down from Marvel, the next person who steps up to take over the MCU, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him or her. And I think the same thing is happening here. Bob Chapek, a lot of pressure on him to see what he's going to do with this situation. All right, let's jump into some Streamlabs before we move on to our next topic. Jazz Santee donated. He said, I just want to say, really enjoyed your character Springload from Transformers Robots in Disguise. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Transformers Netflix series? I'm going to let you know later on today. It looks great. I'm doing a trailer reaction for that new Netflix anime Transformers thing, do a little background about it as well on a video. So I'll be recording that. Once I come back from this visit to the SoFi Stadium, I'm recording Geek Buddies, and then I'll be doing some videos for that. So I will let you know definitely. But right now, initially, just reading all the stuff I read about before I watch the trailer, because I won't have a trailer reaction, I think it looks fantastic. And I like the anime style. I know Ben Goddard yesterday on SCN said he's not a big fan of that style, but I like that style for the anime stuff. So, or was it Monday? I think Monday he said it. All right. The next one is from, oh, man, I can't say this. I'm going to, but I don't want to say this. Glory, glory, Man United. Ugh, it hurts my blood to say as a Liverpool supporter. Hey, Rocha, I sent excuse me. I sent in a Streamlab on Monday at SEN Live, but it wasn't read, so going to ask again. I'm a huge Man U fan, and with a good win in Sunday, a top 4 position looks possible. I hate that Liverpool is on top, but as long as Man Shitty is not, I'm happy. Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, good. I'm sure a top 4 position is possible. All kinds of moving pieces here with Tottenham and Chelsea and Manchester United there, and of course Manchester City. So there's all kinds of things moving around on the top, but you never know. Solskjaer has been very uneven the whole season. So as a coach, as a manager rather. So we'll see what he can do with this team. Can he rally them to a top 4 position? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, because they've been so inconsistent, and this whole Pogba thing hanging over him the whole time. Not an easy thing to navigate when your top star is having temperamental issues with their manager. Wait a minute. What are you trying to say? I'm trying to make an Outlaw Finstock connection? Don't. It's not the same thing. Not at all. All right, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, Jesse C. donated here. He says, kind of low in funds this week, but want to send support. Oh, thank you, Jesse C. I appreciate that. Have you seen the show Altered Carbon on Netflix? Season 2 comes out on Thursday with new lead Anthony Mackie. Joel Kinnaman was Season 1, a type of Blade Runner type of show. Highly recommended. All right, I will put that on my list. Yeah, I know a lot of people recommended it. I think Snyder gave it an uneven review, so it kind of affected me. But then again, Jeff Snyder's not always the best at getting me, analyzing things. So I will take a look at it, and I'm just busting his balls. I love Jeff. Jeff's a good critic. I will take a look at it, though. I will watch it. I'm sure I'll have some time on the plane. Oh, maybe I'll download it and have it on my iPad for the plane trip to Atlanta, and I'll watch those episodes while I'm traveling to Atlanta. That could be fun. I surely am a fan of Joel Kinnaman, that's for sure. Glory, glory, Man United donated again here. My question was, what do you think about Man City's Champions League ban? What do you think about today's Champions League games? All right, so first of all, the Manchester City was banned for 2 years for some financial misdealings with companies and putting up, companies of that nature that were used to pay their players, because there's a whole kind of confusing, complicated way about how only 30% of income from a sponsor can go to a player. But if you create a fake company so that you can fund more money and pay to a player, there's all kinds of limits on financial fair play that you got to study and analyze. And maybe that wouldn't be a bad video to do for game time, but you got to break down what is financial fair play, and then break down why they got in trouble. Man City did for this, and why they're being banned for 2 years. They are appealing it, so I can't say anything until the appeal comes through, because that's the final decision. Unless there's a Supreme Court in soccer, I don't know. But yeah, today Lyon takes on Juventus, and Madrid takes on Manchester City. I think Juventus is definitely going to beat Lyon. That being said, though, Barcelona had a tough time with Napoli yesterday, so this could be a tighter game than people think. But I do think Madrid is going to beat Manchester City. I think there's just too much drama. There's too much drama swirling around. There's too much stuff going on. And Manchester City over the last few weeks has been really inconsistent with their play. Wins, losses, draws, things of that nature. And so I think you never know what Manchester City is going to show up now every week. Are they going to get upset? Are they going to blow a 2-0 lead and lose 3-2, or are they going to destroy people 4-0? I don't know, but my feeling is that Madrid's going to handle business here in this game, and Juventus is going to take care of business with Lyon. So we'll see. All right, that's the last Streamlab I think that I have in here right now before I move on to the Super Chats. Let me see. Yes, it is. All right, Super Chats. Chris Scorpio, favorite actors of all time, DDL and Denzel for me. Well, it'll always be Marlon Brando is one of my favorite actors of all time, and Robert De Niro before, the current iteration of Robert De Niro, so as well as Pacino before the current iteration of these people. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis, absolutely one of the best ever. Denzel, he's a good actor, absolutely. But sometimes I think you can watch Denzel movies and feel like he's doing Denzel. He's playing Denzel. Same with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, great actor, but he's playing Tom Cruise. So sometimes, you're looking for things that are different, looking for things that are unusual. Russell Crowe could have easily just played Russell Crowe, but he takes swings. I think he's fantastic in Beautiful Mind. He's not playing Russell Crowe. Or in The Insider, which I finally saw with Jeff Snyder. You can't argue that those are different different kind of characters aside from his normal type of stuff. So those are things that I look for in great actors of note. Certainly Brando being one of them. You can compare Brando at the beginning, this sexy, muscular dude in Streetcar Named Desire, violent guy, to what you see in Apocalypse Now, a more restrained, powerful performance, or The Godfather as well, restrained, patriarchal, warm performance that you wouldn't expect normally from him. So definitely in that conversation are those two guys. And then let's move on here. Daniel McBreen, just wanted to show my support. I love you, man. I watch you every morning. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you, man. The chat is pretty lively, I see here on the side. Thank you all so much for being a part of it. There's over 195 of you in here. Thank you so much. Almost 200 of you in here. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Any chance you can swing your cursor over and hit that like button, I'd be most appreciative. We're only at 90 likes. I like to, if we're at 200 people watching, I like to get over 200 likes before the end of the stream in the next 33 minutes. So if you haven't hit like, I'd love it if you swing over, hit that like button. It means a lot to me as I'm doing this, and it means a lot to YouTube because of their algorithm and all that kind of jazz. So please give it a like. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, maybe you're discovering this show for the first time, or maybe you've been watching this week and you're like, I want to see what he does. I want to see how good he is. Please, this is a consistent show every morning. I think I finally found the sweet spot at 8:30. I finally found the right lighting. I've got a decent mic for now in this situation. So it'd be cool if you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put out a new episode of Strong Style at 1 o'clock today. That is me and Aaron Turner. We're revisiting the clash between Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig and Nick Bockwinkel, the AWA Championship from Super Clash 2 from 1987 at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. We break that thing down, talk about its legacy over 45 minutes, and have a good time doing it. So if you're a big fan of professional wrestling, don't forget about Strong Style. Game Time is coming. That's my sports show as well. I'll have some movie reviews. I'm definitely going to have a movie review for Invisible Man, for Sonic, and of course, trailer reactions to the Westworld trailer that's coming, and Transformers. So both of those things will be coming down the pike as well. So a lot of content on here. Geek Buddies, we're recording it later on today. That'll drop tonight at midnight for people to enjoy tomorrow as well. We talk about a lot of things on it, including the next story. So let's jump into our next story. Oh, thank you for letting me take a drink. Yeah, some AWA. All people liking the AWA stuff. Yeah, absolutely. There will be some AEA stuff. Absolutely. Chris Hayner just subscribed. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, my man. All right, the likes are over 100 and almost 115 likes. Get me up there to 200, everybody. Would really appreciate it. Would love it if you could do that. All right, let's move on to our next topic, and that is Jurassic World 3. A lot of stuff happened here yesterday. There is a new title for Jurassic World 3. That is Jurassic World Dominion. And this was shared by Colin Trevorrow on his social media here. Sorry, I got to extend this out a little bit. Yeah, it was shared by Colin Trevorrow on his social media. They showed the slate, which was really funny to see. I enjoyed seeing that slate. Having been on set, I always enjoy seeing these slates and what have you. And it's the first day of shooting. And that's why he showed it, finally announcing officially the name. He is stepping in back to the franchise, of course, after he was removed as the director for Episode 9, or creative differences caused his exit of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And he's coming back home after J.A. Bayona had directed the second one, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which, although it made $1.3 billion, it was an X-Men Last Stand situation where a lot of people bashed that movie and didn't like that movie, even though it made some money. And Universal confirmed the title yesterday as well. And then Chris Pratt went on to social media and he put this under. He put Jurassic World Dominion, sovereignty or control, man's attempt to establish dominion over nature, hashtag Jurassic World Dominion. Hold on to your butts, Pratt captioned the shot. So there you go. I love this title. I think Jurassic World Dominion is great. And look, those of you who know me, who saw me on Movie Talk, who saw me on Collider, you know I'm not the biggest fan of the Jurassic World franchise. I think it gets a little bit too much. I think it gets a little too much of a pass from a lot of people because, it's not, those movies haven't been anywhere near as good as the first one ever. And yet people bash me for loving the Transformers movies, even though none of those movies that came after the first one are as good as the first one. So I don't know. I don't know why Jurassic World gets a pass, but Transformers doesn't. I would argue the quality across the board is almost consistently bad. It's just a matter of preference. So a lot of people enjoy the Jurassic World movies more, I imagine, than they do the Transformers movies because they don't get anywhere near the amount of hate. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are returning for this film. Also, we know it was announced that Laura Dern is coming back, Sam Neill is coming back, Jeff Goldblum is coming back, and the rest of the cast with Jake Johnson, Omar Sy, B.D. Wong. Of course, B.D. Wong, if you remember from the last film, a little bit of a villain. Justice Smith, Scott Hayes, and Mamadou Athie is going to be a part of this as well. Trevorrow is writing the script for Jurassic World Dominion with newcomer Emily Carmichael. It'll be based off a story written by Trevorrow and his writing partner Derek Connolly. Frank Marshall and Pat Crowley will return to produce. Jurassic World made $1.67 billion when it came out. It's currently ranked 6th on the all-time box office charts. And like I said, $1.3 billion for the follow-up. Didn't do quite as well. And don't forget, and this is intriguing, let's look at this title now. Dominion. Dominion means what? Dominion over animals, dominion over, the kingdom, dominion over things of that nature. And that is where we find ourselves as we go into this third Jurassic World movie. Remember, at the end of the last one, the dinosaurs were let out, or the dinosaurs escaped, and what have you, and they wandered the earth and wandered these things. So we'll see what that leads to. So they'll want to control the dinosaurs again and move them back into some kind of park of some sort, or maybe even kill off some of the dinosaurs. I don't know, but certainly dominion, this idea of dominion over something. As Chris Pratt said here, let me read that again. As Chris Pratt said, man's attempt to establish dominion over nature. So certainly that'll be the focus of the third movie, man's attempt to establish dominion over these creatures. And remember, there was that, was it Bad Day? Was it Black Rock? Oh, I'm thinking of a classic film. What was the name of that movie that, an 8-minute short film. I think it's called Bad Day at Black Rock that was released with my man, Andre Holland, being a part of it as well. So let me see here if I've got the name right. Sorry. No. Let me see. Is it Black Rock, Jurassic World? I always want to get these things right. So yeah, Battle at Big Rock. Sorry about that. Battle at Big Rock. Bad Day at Black Rock is a separate film, classic film. So Battle at Big Rock is the one. It was an 8-minute short. You saw, this family being attacked by these dinosaurs and everyone kind of accepting that this is the new state of existence, that these things are always around the corner, anything can happen, that kind of stuff. And so that went down. So will we see more of that? It seems like that's what we're going to see in this third movie. And the title, I think, infers that, which I think is brilliant. I actually like this title better than any of the titles that have come forth for Jurassic World, for any of them. I like Dominion. It's to the point. It's strong. What does it mean? What will we see? And what is Chris Pratt's role in this? Do they drag Ellie and Sam Neill out of retirement to handle this situation? Is Jeff Goldblum going to be a little more of a part of this one, more of the action adventure side of things, or is he just going to be sitting on the sideline making comments as his standard stuff? I don't know, but it's exciting to see that this is going to be maybe the wrap up of the entire series, because you've got the old stars coming in to, kind of help the new stars. Ooh, does that sound familiar, Star Wars? To try to get them to solve a situation or overcome a situation that they're involved in here in Jurassic World 3. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, I haven't been the biggest fan of these Jurassic World movies. I haven't always thought they were the best. But I've always wanted them to be good, that's for sure. They just always haven't been good. And so with this one, I want it to be good because it feels like this might be the end of the series. And what better way to go out than having Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard all being a part of it. Sorry, just adjusting here. And there's rumors about, Matarazzo coming back as well. There was hints that he might be coming back into the franchise as kind of a closure thing as well. I forget the young actress's name from the first movie. I wonder if she will come back. I know that she's occasionally popped in, popped out at conventions or in interviews, things of that nature. So it would be fun to see the kids again, in my personal opinion. But yeah, and I wonder if and of course there's probably not going to be any deaths, but really that would put this over the edge. If there's like Sam Neill sacrificing himself, or Laura Dern sacrificing herself to save, or or of all people, Jeff Goldblum sacrificing himself to kind of save everybody from the situation. Wouldn't that be phenomenal to see? But probably we won't see too much of that, I imagine. All right. Please swing over, hit that like button. Would really appreciate it. Let me see if there are any super chats or Streamlabs going on here. Sorry about that. I'm stumbling over my words a little bit this morning. Sylvia Cuomo just subscribed. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Appreciate that. Paige Chowdhury sent in a Streamlab, is that right? Or a super chat. Let me see here. Where is it? Let me find it. Here we go. Hi, John. If you had dinner for 4, who would be your guest, to be alive or dead? You are so cool. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Paige. Who would be my guest, alive or dead? Good question. Well, you got to go with Lincoln just to see if you'd have some conversations. Orson Welles, because I think Lincoln would see through Orson Welles' bullshit. That'd be a lot of fun to sit and have those guys with me. Alive or dead? Probably Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise with Orson Welles and Abraham Lincoln. That'd be a hell of a combo in this whole situation. And maybe Cate Blanchett. I think those 4 people would be a lot of fun to have conversations with. Incredibly intelligent people and funny people and unusual people to throw in there. It would be a lot of fun to see them having conversations and doing my thing. So it'd be a blast. Absolutely be a blast to be in that situation. So thank you for that super chat page. Really appreciate you sending it through. All right, I got about 22 minutes left in the stream here. Would love it if you get the likes up there. We're at 135. Would love to get over 150, maybe even over to 200 before the end of the stream. Thank you all so much. Over 180 you in here now. Let's see. Do we have a... Oh, okay. TJ Cornwell says, hey, John, did you buy anything from the Criterion 50% off sale that's about to end? I did not. I went through it last night, and the truth is, the new releases that were dropped, there's not much that I'm excited about. The last ones that I bought, Madawan, When We Were Kings, Do the Right Thing, through that last sale, I kind of feel like I bought what I needed to buy. Are there 3 or 4 titles I could buy if I wanted to before I leave today to go to this opening of the SoFi Stadium, or go to this SoFi Stadium event? I probably could, but I'm not sure if I should. I'm not sure if I'm in that place to buy them. Do I really need them? And I went through the list twice last night, but there's a lot of great stuff that is out there for you to get. Criterion is just fantastic, fantastic stuff. And if I had more time in my life, more time in my day, I think I'd do a separate series on the Outlaw Nation where I take one Criterion disc and kind of just review the entire disc, watch all the behind the scenes featurette, watch all the commentary tracks, and let you know if it's worth it. But it's a lot. There's a lot. Those Criterion discs, some of them with the movie included, can be a 10-hour experience or a 12-hour experience if you're watching 3 commentary tracks and you're watching all the behind-the-scenes feature. And some of them, I think, have Easter eggs occasionally kind of slid into there. I'm still waiting for... I'm still waiting for the Armageddon one to transfer to Blu-ray. They won't do it. It drives me nuts. They had a DVD version of Criterion Collection of Armageddon. They haven't transferred it over into Blu-ray. And I think there's a bit of elitism going on there. And I think that needs to stop. Put Armageddon on 4K on 4K Criterion Collection. It's time to put that on there. You did it for the DVD version. You got to do it for the Blu-ray version. Enough is enough already. That film deserves to be in there, in my opinion, as just a fun little lark of a film, countering all these other classic films and these great foreign films. Really, there is so much. If you haven't taken advantage of this, and those Criterion Collections are usually $40. When they drop them half off, $20, you get a lot for $20. Some of them that are $30 drop to $15. There's the Zatoichi Collection, which had come out for a while. I don't think it's no longer in print. It drops from $100 to $50. That's worth it. There's the Godzilla Collection that just came out a few months ago. That is certainly worth it at half off if you're a big Monsters fan. All the Godzilla movies into one collection. It's pretty, the classic Godzilla movies, the old school Godzilla movies in one collection. Pretty great stuff. There's so much on there. Facing the Crowd, Chimes at Midnight. There's all these Hitchcocks on there. Spellbound, Rebecca. There's so much on there that you can explore. If you're a film student, if you're a student of film and you want to learn about classic film, you want to learn about foreign film, Criterion collections are the way to go. Ingmar Bergman has a bunch of stuff on there. There's so much through when you look throughout that you can enjoy. Antonio Nini has stuff. Fellini is on there. There's so much that Criterion does, and it's a rare Criterion collection disc that is released that doesn't have an incredible wealth of information and a treasure trove of knowledge for you to learn about film or about how these directors approached their making of their movies. So that's what I can tell you. A lot of stuff there. Let's see what is he talking about? What is Paul Denuzzo? Is Paul Denuzzo mentioning is he mentioning a Ed Harris film? The Rock. Oh, yes. Did The Rock get a Criterion collection on DVD? I didn't know that. I'm not the biggest fan of The Rock, so really, you got a Criterion collection? Well, then, well, damn. Maybe there is a The Rock Criterion collection out there on Blu-ray that they're transferring over maybe down the road. Who knows? Who can say? All right. He says, Schlonghorn Leghorn. Thank you, Schlonghorn Leghorn. He says, I'd buy Criterion, but they're just so overpriced. Are they overpriced? Overpriced implies that you're not getting bang for your buck. And I think a $40 Criterion collection with the amount of information that is on those discs is not overpriced. There's not a lot of places you can get that information that they have on those discs and the people they bring together, the essays that they have in those books, sometimes the booklets that come with it. All that stuff's invaluable if you're a film lover. That's why when they're half off, people go crazy to kind of stock up. I have three things full of Criterion Collection discs because they're just like, if everything burns down, at least I have these classic films. Maybe if there's a nuclear apocalypse, I can teach people about film again down the road. I know it's crazy. I just have those thoughts sometimes. That's all. All right. There was a Criterion release of RoboCop. That is for sure. Yeah, so Denuzzo confirms that there is a Rock Criterion collection, the Rock Criterion collection on DVD. It is not on Blu-ray. Hey, by the way, I solved the lag issue, right? Pretty cool. Thank you all so much. Pretty cool to solve that at this point. All right, let me move on to one Streamlabs or a couple Streamlabs before I move on to my last topic of the day before I have to wrap up here in the next 17 minutes. All right, I'm at 142 likes. Get me up to above 150. I'd really appreciate it. All right, Facetious Christ donated, said, John, you are fantastic. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I enjoyed you before at your previous employer, but I'm 100% in on the Rogue Rocha. It allows you to be more yourself and not censored. I love your passion with everything you do. Keep up the great work. I will be here. Oh, thank you, Facetious. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Yes, I no longer have a constraint to worry about Stu. I no longer have to have the conversation of, it could affect our relationship with the studio. It could affect our relationship with an actor or a director. I always found that to be irritating and frustrating as fuck, to be honest with you, because honesty is my brand. Honesty is what it's about, right? And I speak my truth about the situation. Does it mean that I can't be proved wrong? No. Does it mean that I can't turn around on something down the road? No. But I'm going to tell you my honest truth. But I'm not going to be mean about it. I'm not going to be cruel about it. I can be playful about it, but I'm not going to be mean or cruel about it. And occasionally maybe I have slid into what people think might be mean or cruel. It wasn't my intention at the time, but people could, and they pointed it out to me, and I've apologized in those moments. But overall, I think, in my personal opinion, that it is, I like being able to just speak my truth and speak about things that I've heard. I'm tired. It really got frustrating to get the stink milk face every time when I brought something up that certain people didn't agree, like I got so sick of that because it's like, no, just let me be me. Let me talk my truth. I'm letting you talk your truth. I'm letting you say your opinion, whether it's valid or invalid. And I'm not making a face at it. So those kinds of things just got to be frustrating. And I'm happy I'm able to kind of do my thing on SCN Live as well. We have our back and forth. It's really a lot of fun. It's great to be a little bit free. So thank you, Facetious Christ. I appreciate you giving me some love there. Oh, and you sent in another one. You said, Outlaw, I'm new to the Schmodown and patron. I've got a few people I root for because of the person they are outside of of the Schmodown. But you, my friend, I love you on both ends. The passion, not to be confused with ego, is electric, and I can't get enough. Thank you, Facetious. It's very kind of you. You know, it's always nice to send kind words to people, so I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you in here enjoying Mornings with the Outlaw. At least I hope you're enjoying Mornings with the Outlaw. I love doing it every morning. It's not always easy. It takes a lot of time from what I'm doing at night, but I know that my girlfriend supports me doing it. I know the consistency is the key on a YouTube channel, and the fact that I get to connect with you guys and talk with you all and hear your thoughts means a lot to me overall personally. So thank you all so much. Please send in more of your Streamlabs, more of your Super Chats. Got about 14 minutes left in the stream, so it'd be nice to get a little bit something more before we have to lock this thing down and move on. And let's move on to our next story, and that is Indiana Jones and Marvel. You saw it in the title of this particular episode. Harrison Ford, he was talking to, in a recent interview with Hey You Guys, he assured the fans that the new Indiana Jones won't happen until everyone is confident in it. So that is what they said. Let me tell you his quote. He said, "I don't really want to give them what they want to see. I want to give them something they didn't anticipate. They are used to a degree of disappointment when you revisit. Certainly the Marvel movies have made a spectacular example of a success that worked the other way around. They killed it. Well, we're not going to make another Indiana Jones unless we are in a position to kill it. We want it to be the best. We've got some scheduling issues and a few script things to do, but we are determined to get it right before we get it made." This is Indiana Jones 5. I love this idea that he's talking about. I love that he's pointing out to Marvel Studios as an example. What a shock. What a nice thing to have a person of note and a person who has a history of decades-long history in Hollywood saying positive things about Marvel and Marvel's blueprint and Marvel's approach to things, instead of people like Scorsese or Coppola coming in and kind of trying to damper it a little bit. I think it's fantastic to have Harrison Ford stepping in saying, we'd like Indiana Jones to mirror what Marvel did. Yeah, it would be nice to have consistent quality across the board over 22 films is almost impossible. Yeah, were there a couple or 3 or 4 not that great movies? Sure. But out of 22, pretty incredible. Look, Pixar has done so many great movies, and they've also had a couple of missteps. Do you hate Pixar? Do you think Pixar is not a good studio? No, it's overall what you do, and the record is so strong for Marvel. So to see Harrison Ford talking about that for Indiana Jones, I think is a positive, because these are the things that other franchises need to be looking at and mirroring. And I don't mean they need to start a universe. I mean they need to look at the quality, consistency, and things that Feige did, finding these younger directors, kind of shepherding them through the process, making it part of the overall collective or narrative of the universe, but still having those films stand out individually as themselves. And so that's really important here. In Indiana Jones 5, a lot of people wondering what's going to be in here, this thing. Screenwriter David Kopp is returning to do the story. Spielberg is directing. Shia LaBeouf has not been confirmed to return, although it would be interesting. A lot of people were against the possibility of him coming back as Mutt, but now with what happened with Honey Boy, now with what happened with Peanut Butter Falcon, has the public turned around on Shia LaBeouf, and it would be fun to see him be a part of this thing and enjoy himself a little bit more and not be the young kid trying to figure it out or wearing that leather thing and riding that motorbike, which looks so completely out of place for him. Would it be better to see him be part of the adventures with Indiana? It doesn't mean he's handing over the mantle to him, but it could be fun as a family thing. You bring back Marion Ravenwood again, do something with her. That would be fun for me personally to see, kind of wrap this whole thing up. And please don't make it like Crystal Skull. My Lord, Crystal Skull. That is a terrible, terrible film. I'm sure there are hot takes out there of people who defend that movie. There's no longer a 100% agreed bad movie in the world anymore. So many websites assign writers to defend these terrible movies, or writers write in saying, I can defend this movie. Let me write something for you, so they can get paid and do their thing. And some of them are authentic. Some of them authentically like these bad movies. Certainly I like those Transformers movies. But Crystal Skull, I think, is one of those universally panned movies that people just do not like. There's so much to not like about it. That refrigerator sequence alone, and then the flying monkeys, and Cate Blanchett is wasted. Ray Winstone is wasted. It's a frustrating film to watch overall. And, of course, we saw that South Park episode that happened as a result seeing Steven Spielberg and George Lucas do what they did to Indiana Jones in that episode was rough to watch at times. So and there's a lot of people, of course, speculating now. Oh, he spoke so highly of Marvel. Does that mean we'll see Harrison Ford in the MCU? Well, why not? Certainly possible. We've seen Robert Redford in the MCU. We've seen a number of great actors roll through the MCU of note. So why not? Why wouldn't he be a part of it? William Hurt is in the MCU. A lot of good actors of note and name and credibility and Oscars have rolled through here. So I would be excited to see what a Harrison Ford character would be in the MCU and what he could do. But another thing you got to take out of this quote is he said, we've got some scheduling issues and a few script things to do, but we are determined to get it right before we get it made. What does that mean, scheduling issues? Because if you remember, during his Call of the Wild press junket interviews, he mentioned that the work was due to begin in about 2 months, quote unquote, in about 2 months on Indiana Jones 5. So maybe this is just an offhand comment. He's just like, yeah, we're still working out some scheduling things and some script things, but we're going to be good to go in 2 months. Maybe he anticipates they'll be good to go in 2 months, so it's not a big deal for him to talk about scheduling issues or talk about script stuff that they need to clarify. Who knows? But certainly he's got high aspirations for this thing, comparing it to Marvel, wanting it to be like a Marvel movie. Those are high expectations to put on the creative team behind this film. And remember, he's 77, 78 years old, is Harrison Ford. So how much can he really do? How much, he got injured on Force Awakens. I don't know I didn't hear of any injuries on Call of the Wild. Maybe you all can correct me on that. But you wonder how much he can take on his body to be able to do a film like this. So we'll see. I'm always down for an Indiana Jones film. I went to see Crystal Skull. I was like, it's not good. It's just not good. It doesn't mean I didn't think it was terrible, right? It was still nice to have time with Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. But yeah, it's not a good movie, but I didn't hate it, right? So if you can put Indiana Jones back into motion and have some fun, and maybe bring back what you enjoyed about the first film and about Last Crusade, get that vibe back. Because remember, Temple of Doom kind of took a little bit of a swing, wasn't that well received at the time. I know it's grown in estimation in people's eyes later on in life, but at the time, I can tell you, at the time, it wasn't that well received by the critics or by the fans. And the third one really kind of put it back into the vibe of the first one, Last Crusade did, and it's a fantastic film. Consequently, I should make a little plug here. We just are finishing up our two-part breakdown of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Raiders of the Lost Ark if you are an old school person who knows that that's the actual title of the movie, on the Cinephiles. We did part one. Last week was pretty controversial, some conversations about Marion Ravenwood and how she's treated in the film, but overall a love letter to that movie, breaking it all down, the Cinephiles with our Steve Morris and I with our special guest Shannon McClung. I think part two drops on Friday, and then next week we drop part one of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That was a lot more of an enjoyable revisit. How can I say it's not a lot more of an enjoyable revisit, but certainly there's a lot to enjoy in revisiting that movie, I should say, in Last Crusade. So exciting stuff, fun stuff for the Cinephiles. And we got other stuff coming down the pike. If you haven't listened to Cinephiles, please go and find it. This morning I tweeted about this new British show, not new, but this British show that my girlfriend and I discovered on Hulu called Undiscovered. And I tweeted at Sanjeev Baksar, and he retweeted back to me and then said, thank you for the tip on the Cinephiles. I'm going to start watching listening to the Raiders of the Lost Ark one, and I'm going to start listening to Life of Brian. So that blew me away that an actor who I respect and admire so much for his comedy and his drama is going to be listening to the Cinephiles. It's kind of crazy. So there you go. Anyway, all right, we'll see what happens with Indiana Jones 5. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe they can reach that Marvel approach or that Marvel goal. That would be a lot of fun to see from Steven Spielberg. Wouldn't that be ironic? Steven Spielberg was a contemporary of Martin Scorsese, a contemporary of Francis Ford Coppola, would be the one that would do a Marvel type film for Indiana Jones. But hey, this is where maybe the public has a taste for it, and Indiana Jones could be a lot of fun with that. So I'm sure script stuff I'm sure stories will come out. I'm sure there'll be a log line or what have you coming out, and then we'll get announcements for more of the cast members who are going to be part of this one coming down the pike in the next few weeks. So we shall see, or it could be delayed again. We don't know. I mean, it's been delayed for quite some time already, so wouldn't be surprised to see it delayed again. That being said, you don't want it to happen. All right, let's see. Are there any more Streamlabs or Super Chats? before I start the process of wrapping this thing up here, because I got like 5 minutes left. No, the last two from Facetious Christ were in there, so that's great. Any more jumping down through here? Any super chats I might have missed? No. All right, cool. What do we got? Let's see. I would like it if an adult short round takes over. Oh yeah, Hanu. Let's see. Sorry, Kanu Haku Fu Nico Robin _DB says I would like it if an adult short round takes over for the over the mantle, maybe played by Stephen Yoon. Yeah, it's certainly possible. A lot of people had issues with that accent on short round, that it was a little overdone in the movie. Yes, he did have accent in the Goonies, but I think in the Goonies it feels more natural, and in Temple of Doom, a lot of people felt it was a bit more overdone. You know, those of us who are actors, we've been in those auditions where they say, hey, can you sound more urban? Can you sound more Latino? Which of course implies make that accent even more overt. So all of us have been in, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was maybe make it more Asian, make the accent more Asian or stereotypical Asian. So that kind of stuff does come into play sometimes in Hollywood. I'm not going to lie to you. It's absolutely what happens, and you'll see it in those breakdowns. And if people weren't scared of losing jobs, I think a lot of them would retweet those things out, you know. So we'll see. All right, let's see. I got a super chat that rolled through here from Roos Bain. Nice. Well done. Well done. Hey, from the UK, love the accents. Send live not working for me. What does that mean? SL not working for me. I don't know what that means. Maybe send live. Is that what that means? I don't know. I love the accents too. I enjoy doing those, the drunk Irish accent on SCN Live. That's a lot of fun for me. William Belford says the best piece of content John has done was the action movie anatomy for Armageddon. Second best is action movie anatomy for Fifth Element. Was I on the Fifth Element episode, man? It was such a long time ago, Billy. I don't remember if I did Fifth Element. I do remember doing Armageddon with them, which was a lot of fun. I always enjoy those guys. They're big fans of those guys, Ben and Guy. And certainly it's going to be crazy this weekend. We shall see. All right, two more Streamlabs that came through here. Let me read them to you. This one's from Wiley Todd. Rocha, could you possibly do the Houston Top 10 show on the same weekend of the Schmodown to make up for the Houston show that got canceled? But also, what do you think of From Russia with Love? Saw it, love it. Also, the Bond girl is so hot. Yeah, Matt and I think are kind of letting the Houston one go. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we can make it work like we were hoping so. But maybe when we meet this week, I can mention it to him and see what he thinks if we want to try and do it there at the same time as the Schmodown. Although sometimes it feels a little bit weird to do it that way because we're kind of splitting the atom for attention. And I think with what's going on with the Schmodown now is like they want to kind of own the weekend. And we would only probably be able to do the show on Thursday night, if at all. We'll see. But I could talk to him and see what the situation is. And the woman you're talking about is Daniela Bianchi. She is the woman in From Russia with Love. Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And, you know, it's not a surprise to see that from a James Bond film, to see so many beautiful women being involved in this one. Robert Shaw, part of this one, too, from Jaws. So good to see Quint involved in a James Bond movie. He always pops up in the most interesting places when you go back and look at the history of films. He's got an interesting one as well. All right, one more Streamlabs, I think. TJ Cornwell. Hey, John. Did you buy anything from the... Oh, I already read that one. Sorry about that. So I don't know what we could do, Wiley Todd, but we'll figure it out as we go along. All right. I'd like to... Okay, I got to wrap this thing up. It's 9:29. Got to jump into the car and drive down to the SoFi Stadium. I want to thank you all so much for listening or watching this episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Certainly going to be putting these... Some people have asked about when they're going to be on podcast form. Still waiting for Anchor to approve it. Once Anchor approves it, then yes, all these will be available in podcast form for you to listen to. Maybe I'll just do a massive dump of all of these and people can listen to them as they go along. We shall see. I'm going to try to do just the Outlaw Nation Podcast Network. It'll have Strong Style. It'll have my reviews. It'll have my trailer reaction. Well, not trailer reactions, but it'll have my reviews. It'll have those things of that nature. Geek Buddies has its own, and Cinephiles and Top 10. They all have their own streams, but everything else that goes under the Outlaw Nation banner will be on the Outlaw Nation podcast feed that I'm setting up. So look for these dropping as well for you in podcast form. You guys have been awesome today. Thank you so much. Had almost 200 of you all in here, or over 200 for a certain little bit of time there, but good to see 164 likes. Thank you so much. Was hoping to get to 200, but you know, you got to have big goals in life. I'm just glad we got over 150. It means a lot to me to have you all joining me every morning to talk about the world and the news going on in the world of entertainment. Head on off to SCN Live in about half an hour. Enjoy the gang over there, and don't forget about the live event this weekend. The Schmodown live event happening this weekend. On the undercard, got Emily Rose Jacobson taking on Alex Damon there, the Star Wars champion, in his first Intergeekdom match. And then after that's the main event, the massive main event between the champion, Ben Bateman, the boss, against Dan Murrow, the GOAT. Please don't forget to watch that. It's like $5 for the live stream when it happens on Saturday night. Or you can become a $10 patron and you get that all included. You get my documentary in the $10 patron. You get so many things going on there for the Schmodown, so be a part of it as well. All right, thanks everybody. Follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Please don't forget, trying to get above 35,000 on Twitter, trying to get 20,000 on Instagram. Would love to have your support in that way. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the content here, subscribe at the YouTube. And if you want to support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Would appreciate it all. Thanks to Jake Iacovetta for moderating. Thanks to Paul Denuzzo for moderating. You guys are awesome. Don't forget, next Monday night, I will be on Chill to Action. Next Monday night, I'm going to be on that show. Good God. God help us all. I'm certainly going to have something to say about that Schmodown rundown ridiculousness that's going on between those two clowns over there. Certainly going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. And I told them last night on Facebook, I'm going to answer every question they have. So this could be an extra long Chill to Action. So I hope all of them nap it up over there on the East Coast, because I can go all night long. Just like Captain America Steve Rogers once said, I can do this all day. So I simply Chill to Action all night long. So get ready. Maybe we'll do a 6-hour stream of it to rival Video Drew's streams. You never know. All right. Love to all of you. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow with another brand new episode of Mornings with the Outlaw. Take care until then. Love you, man. Love you all. Love you, ladies. Love you, men. Take care. Bye.